The current events in the story imply that there will most certainly be bounty increases after every arc. The main difference this time around is that there are going to be many significant bounty increases on a massive scale. We must not forget that so many events have taken place over a few months. The revolutionaries' attack on Marijoa sparked the beginning of the 8-Nation Revolution. This coincided with the Straw Hats not only provoking Big Mom, but also heading for Wano to pick a fight with Kaido. Meanwhile, Blackbeard kidnapped Kobe. After the defeat of Kaido and Big Mom, the Blackbeard pirates raided Whole Cake Island, defeated Cracker, and captured Pudding. This was followed by the simultaneous defeats of the Heart Pirates at the hands of the Blackbeard pirates, and the Kid Pirates at the hands of the Red Hair Pirates. Garp and the Sword members attacked Beehive Island, but ultimately had to retreat as Garp was defeated by Kuzan. The Straw Hats then docked at Egghead Island, and the events that ensued led to one of the most controversial incidents in One Piece history. Not only did the 5 elders make landfall on the island, but Vegapunk succeeded in leaking details about the truth of the world, as the 5 elders presumably failed to stop the recording. The Blackbeard pirates also made an appearance, and the giants Dory and Broggy finally returned to the story. With the current uncertainty that exists in the world right now, I believe that the world government will have no other choice than to increase the bounties of all pirates that stir up chaos in the New World. So in this video, we will be talking about the prospective increases in the bounties of these pirates. Before we begin, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. The first bounty increase that we will most certainly be getting is Sabo. Sabo has always had a bounty slightly higher than Luffy. Initially, when Luffy had a bounty of 500 million berries, Sabo's bounty was 602 million berries. Luffy has gone on to defeat Kaido and become an emperor, acquiring a massive bounty of 3 billion berries. This is quite impressive, but not as impressive as Sabo and the revolutionaries who attacked Marijoa, the most secure city in the world, stalled the admirals Green Bull and Fujitora, freed Kuma and Sabo, most notably found out about Inu, as well as witnessed the assassination of Nefertari Cobra. Clearly, in the eyes of the 5 elders, Sabo is an even bigger threat to world peace than Luffy is. The evidence is that his actions catalyzed the 8-Nation Revolution. So, Sabo, in my humble opinion, will get a bounty of 3,102 million berries. This is because his initial bounty was 102 million berries higher than that of Luffy. The next bounty increases we will be getting are those of Broggy and Dory. The giant pirate captains return to the story in style fully buffed from 100 years of training. The ease with which Broggy took down Vice Admiral Tosa clearly indicates that these guys are immensely powerful. It is hard to speculate where Dory and Broggy stand right now, but I believe that they will be getting the same bounty that Usopp gets post Egghead Island, and that will be 700 million berries each. Oimo and Kashi will also be getting bounties as well. They might not be as strong as Dory and Broggy are, but they are nonetheless elite members of the giant warrior pirates and warrant respect. This is why they will be getting bounties. I think 100 million each will be a nice play by Oda, giving them the same bounty that their captains had before their 100-year brawl. We have quite a new number of unfrozen bounties in the story, most notably those of Sir Crocodile and Boa Hancock. We also know that the only reason why Kobe escaped from his cell was because of Perona. Perona had asked him to free Mariah, imprisoned on Beehive Island. With all of the chaos caused by the Sword members who attacked the island, Mariah could have seized this opportunity to escape. If so, I believe he could most certainly be getting a bounty increase. He has not shown much, to be honest, in my humble opinion, to warrant a bounty increase, but I think surviving capture from a Devil Fruit Hunter's crew is good enough for him to be getting a bounty increase. I think a bounty of about 520 million berries is good enough for Mariah. In the same light, I believe that Achoku, who was defeated by Blackbeard, could have escaped from Beehive Island. I agree that this is me diving into the unknown. Even so, Achoku was stated to have been so strong that the only reason why Blackbeard took him down was because Kobe assisted him. So with someone so strong, Blackbeard could have asked him to join his crew, and even if he refused, could have locked him up. If Achoku makes a return to the story, his bounty will most certainly be around the 2,500 million berry mark, simply because Oda has a trend of causing characters who defeat strong opponents to have significant bounty increases. But these increases are usually less than that of the opponents that they defeated. We talked about Sabo, but not much about the other commanders. With Morley, Lindbergh, and Karasu facing off against the Navy Admirals Fujitora and Green Bull, it is safe to assume that these three will also be getting massive bounty increases, most notably because they did achieve one of their primary objectives, which was to free Bartholomew Kuma. So I believe that all three of them will be getting 200 million berries increase in their bounties. Karasu will therefore have a new bounty of 600 million berries, Lindbergh a bounty of 516 million berries, and Morley a bounty of 493 million berries. We will end this section on the revolutionaries with two bounties that we have been expecting for a while. The first is conditional and depends on how Oda plans to end Kuma's story. Will he continue to be relevant in some capacity? Yes, in my humble opinion, simply because Venesturo has incapacitated the Marks III pacifistas, which were initially under Bonnie's control. The hypothesis was that Bonnie would lose her father, but gain control over an armada of Marks III pacifistas. Since that won't most likely happen, it appears Kuma might just survive this ordeal. But for that, he would have to survive the attack from Marcus Mars. Kuma's initial bounty was frozen at 296 million berries. He was most certainly one of the strongest members of the Warlords, the second strongest in my opinion. As a buccaneer and a founding member of the Revolutionary Army, I believe that his bounty, if he were ever to rejoin the revolutionaries, would be 2,296 million berries. The next is Emporio Ivankov. As one of the original founding members of the Revolutionary Army, he must have a bounty that is comparable to that of Kuma. We know that he does have a bounty of at least 100 million berries. In my humble opinion, he will have a bounty of at least 1,700 million berries. Now on to the Blackbeard pirates. I will begin with the pet Stronger. His devil fruit provides motility for Doc Q, but I don't think he is much of a fighter, so I believe that he will be stuck in the pet class with a bounty of about 1 million berries. Vasco Shot seemed to be one of the more cruel members of the Blackbeard pirates, and this was established by the supposed cruelty of his crimes that led to his bygone imprisonment, said to be of outstanding brutality even by the standards of Impel Down's level 6 prisoners. I think Vasco Shot's bounty will be around 700 million berries. I believe that the benchmark for all level 6 inmates will be at the bare minimum of 600 million berries. San Juan Wolf seems to be the most chill member of the Blackbeard pirates. He has done almost nothing ever since he was introduced, and so to be honest, I believe that he might end up having the lowest bounty of the crew. His bounty will probably be around 650 million berries. Alvaro Pizarro is one of the members of the Blackbeard pirates who has shown quite some potential. His level-headedness when Garp attacked Beehive Island, and his insanely powerful devil fruit make him a force to be reckoned with. What will make him even more impressive is if his ability could be used on any island. For instance, if the Blackbeard pirates got to Wano, could Pizarro use his fruit to control the entire island? If that is the case, Blackbeard could use Pizarro's fruit to bring the walls of Wano country and get access to the ancient weapon Pluton. His bounty would possibly be around the 800 million berry mark in my humble opinion. Katarina Devon was confirmed by Saint Jagartia Saturn not to be the type to subordinate herself to someone else. She was notorious enough to be locked up in level 6 of Impel Down. Her devil fruit ability enables her to take the appearance of those that she has touched. She and Van Ogre leaked Blackbeard's real goal. Also, she touched Saturn, meaning she could also take his appearance as well. This will of course be used by Oda at some point in the story. Saturn, who must have some knowledge of her devil fruit and how it works, would perceive her as a major threat since she could impersonate him. She is one of the characters in the crew that I see having a bounty of over 1 billion berries. I believe that she could have a bounty of 1 billion berries. Doc Q had the highest bounty of the Blackbeard pirates pre-time skip, which stood at 72 million berries. His devil fruit enables him to inflict others with diseases. This is extremely deadly when it comes to civilian casualties. It is for this reason that I believe that Doc Q will have a bounty greater than that of San Juan Wolf. I think a bounty of about 672 million seems okay for him. Jesus Burgess was destroyed by Sabo in Dressrosa, but that was before he gained a devil fruit ability that suited his immense natural strength. This was displayed by how he effortlessly lifted a mountain and threw it in the direction of the law pirates. He was shown to be a skilled armament haki user. In my humble opinion, he is one of the strongest members of the crew. So in my opinion, his bounty will be around 1 billion berries. Lafitte is the character who epitomizes the concept of stealth in the story. capable of single-handedly infiltrating Marijoa and bypassing all the security measures put in place, joining the warlord's meeting without anyone noticing. This feat alone is commendable, placing his stealth ability close to that of Sanji in his raid suit form. He threatened to kill Alvaro Pizarro, one of the strongest members of the crew. Even though he hasn't done much yet, I believe his bounty will be at least higher than those of Doc Q and San Juan Wolf. He will have a bounty of about 700 million berries in my humble opinion. Van Ogre has been one of the most productive members of the Blackbeard Pirates of late. His insane marksmanship, as well as his extremely versatile devil fruit ability, make him one of Blackbeard's most important assets. Ogre revealed to Jagarsha Saturn that Blackbeard's true goal is the world. He and Kuzan raided Cacao Island and defeated Cracker, all the while kidnapping Pudding. He and other members of the Blackbeard Pirates defeated the Heart Pirates, and he also made an appearance on Egghead Island. His presence on all of these islands implies that he will most certainly be getting one of the highest bounties in the crew. I think his bounty will be around the 1,100,000,000 berry mark. Shiryu was recognized to be close in strength to Magellan, who was considered by many to be close to the admirals in strength. Having gained the clear fruit, Shiryu has become even stronger, and when these are coupled with his sadistic tendencies and bloodlust, one could say that Shiryu will have one of the highest bounties in the crew. I believe that Shiryu will have a bounty around the 2 billion berry marks, not only because of his portrayal, but also because of his bloodlust. Finally, we have Kuzan, who needs no introduction. We already know that Cross Guild gave the admirals a bounty of 3 billion berries each. That said, I do not believe that this applies to Kuzan and Sakazuki, who are extremely close in strength, with Sakazuki having an ability that is the natural counter to Kuzan's devil fruit. Even so, it took 10 days for the battle to end. He then later on joined the nastiest of the pirate crews, the Blackbeard Pirates, where he defeated Garp and Cracker. Kuzan, after the Egghead incident, will have a bounty of about 3,800,000,000 berries in my opinion, even if he is a sword member or not. After all, X-Drake was a sword member, but still had a bounty on his head. On the other side of the spectrum, we have the red-haired pirates who defeated the Kid Pirates. Given that very little is known about the true strength of each crewmate, all we are left with is speculations based on portrayal. It was clearly stated that amongst the emperors, Shanks had the weakest fleet. Given that the emperors have massive expanses of territory to protect, this statement implies that the territory is most certainly protected from invaders by the red-haired pirates' core crew. This would therefore mean that among the emperors, the red-haired pirates probably have the strongest crew. It was stated to have the highest balance amongst the other crews with a high average bounty. I could therefore envisage a scenario where the weakest member of the crew has a bounty above 500 million berries. Either way, I will just be predicting that the crew will be getting a bounty increase after their most recent actions, with Beckman getting a 2 billion berry bounty, and Yasopp and Rue's bounties the 1,950,000,000 and 1,930,000,000 respectively. We finally got to the Straw Hats and their affiliates. Beginning with Jewelry Bonnie, I believe it is safe to assume that after her escape, she will be getting a bounty increase. I believe she will be getting a massive bounty increase after Egghead Island. I won't be surprised if she gets a 520 million berry bounty. As for the Straw Hats, I believe that Oda will continue giving Chopper bounties that do not reflect his true strength. So this time I see Chopper having a bounty of 10,000 berries. Nami has grown quite well, but has not done much in the Egghead Island arc. Even so, she will most certainly be getting a bounty increase. I do see her having a bounty of about 566 million berries post-Egghead Island. Similar to Nami, the Soul King has heavily been underused in this arc. So not much could be said other than that he too will be getting a 200 million increase during this arc. Thus, his new bounty will be 583 million berries. Frankie put in the work in this arc and damaged Saturn with his radical beam. I was hoping this arc to be Frankie's arc, since he could learn a lot from Dr. Vegapunk. Even though Stella dies, the possibility that other satellites survive paves the way for Frankie to learn a thing or two from them. So similar to Nami, I believe that he too will be getting a 200 million bounty increase, with his new bounty being 594 million berries. Usopp is one of the few Straw Hat members that I am hyped up about, not only because the next arc is heavily implied to be Usopp-centered, but also because the Giants made the trip to Egghead Island to assist the Straw Hats escape. Escaping the island has become even more difficult because of the sudden appearance of all 5 elders. With Marcus Mars dedicating his efforts towards the Lobo phase, there is great potential for Usopp to pull up some insane feats against Mars. Of course, I do not believe he could take him down, but could distract him or facilitate their escape. This would cause Usopp 2 to get a massive bounty increase to about 750 million. It could even be higher and depends on what Oda will have Usopp ultimately do. Similar to Nami, Nico Robin has had little to do in this arc and is currently injured. Even so, her bounty is sure to increase as well. I see her having a bounty above the 1 billion berry mark. A bounty of 1 billion and 30 million berries seems fit for Robin. Jinbei will most likely have something to do before the end of this arc, most notably because they cannot escape from the presence of the 5 elders on the island and their weird abilities and regeneration, so he and Zoro will have to put in the work. At the end of this arc, I do see Jinbei having a bounty close to the 1 billion 300 million berries mark. Sanji, who was initially the holder of the 4th highest bounty in the crew, will surpass Jinbei by the end of this arc, as he has demonstrated insane resilience. He was protecting Bonnie and Kuma and even stopping Kizaru's lasers. He will most certainly get a bounty increase greater than that of Jinbei. I think Sanji may get a bounty of 1 billion 320 million berries. Roronoa Zoro took down the strongest member of the Cypher Paul, Rob Lucci, and he might even clash with Venusjuro. So I believe that he will get a bounty of 1 billion 510 million 100,000 berries. Finally, Monkey D. Luffy, the one who fought Kizaru and Saturn simultaneously and even managed to overpower them. The user of the Nika Devil Fruit and the dawn of this new age. His eventual escape from the island will coincide with the reveal of the truth of the world by the deceased Vegapunk. I believe that by the end of this arc, Luffy will get a bounty of 4 billion berries, just shy of Shanks' bounty before they meet. The last 2 anticipated bounties are those of Shanks and Blackbeard. I believe that Shanks will have a higher bounty than Blackbeard prior to their battle. With Oda foreshadowing that Shanks and Blackbeard are scheduled to fight this year, and with Blackbeard's bounty being pretty close to that of Shanks, it would be safe to assume that if Blackbeard gets a bounty increase, so will Shanks. I think that Blackbeard's new bounty will be 4 billion 247 million berries, whereas Shanks' bounty will be 4 billion 548 million 900,000. These are the new bounties as well as all of the potential increases by the end of the Egghead Island arc. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments section. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. As usual, it was a pleasure, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.